Since I did a few videos on Saz a while ago, I've gotten quite a bit of feedback on those and some requests to do more. So I'm going to do a series of videos tonight, and I'll put them up separately, but it'll kind of go in order, I guess, from very beginner to beginner still. Before I start, though, I want to just clear one thing up. That's I in no way am claiming to be a professional Saz player or a master at this instrument. This is just an instrument I happen to like, and I've adapted my own way of playing it that works for me. It's worked very good in projects I've used it for, recordings, and just to have fun with. I do realize I'm not holding it exactly perfectly traditionally, and there's ways I play that are just not, you wouldn't see someone that's grown up all their life in Turkey playing this instrument do. It's not my goal either. There's just been some comments on that, like, well, you're holding it wrong, or you're playing it wrong, or don't even put that video up, it's a disgrace to our culture. It's okay. So whatever. That's not my goal to please everyone anyway. So this is just for someone like me. Maybe they come from a background of guitar or bass or whatever. You just want to get one of these, or you got one and you want to learn how to make some music with it. Because to me, there is really no rules. There are really no rules in music. It's all in your own perception. What sounds like crap to me can sound great to someone else, and vice versa. So let's look at some of the basics, though, to just make it more feasible to make a good sound on the instrument. So this is going to be the very basic. Like I said, the next video I'm going to go into a few riffs and exercises. But for now, we'll look at just like how to play it, how to hold it, simple things like that. How to hold it correctly traditionally is more to the right of your leg. The body's more resting like that, and your arms helping to support it kind of against your belly, basically, which I don't find super comfortable. It feels like I'm not used to it. It feels like it slips too much for me. When I'm sitting in this chair, the arm of the chair is bumping against me, so I hold it a little bit more to my left, I guess you'd say, than I should. They've said the same thing about a classical guitar, how it should be held, how you should sit, and people hold it on the left or right leg, and they play just as good either way. So yeah, hold it somewhere comfortable, and I'm always thinking of ergonomics. Basically, you want your wrist in a natural position, of course. If you're having to bend your wrist really weird, it's probably not the best thing to do for a long time. Next, we'll look at the left hand, or your fretting hand. If you're left-handed, you could be right hand, but your fretting hand. Traditionally, it's played different than guitar. When we think of guitar, most people are thinking of like a thumb on the back and a classical grip, was what we call it, where we can utilize all fingers very well and our stretch is optimized. With Saz, you'll see mostly people playing traditionally like with their thumb over the top and using mainly their three fingers, not a whole lot of little finger. Because of course this is like baseball grip on a guitar. If you try to use little finger on baseball grip, you can, but it's not very easy. But the advantage is we can mute strings with our thumb, or we can fret strings and play chords that way. You'll see me, I don't play it correct, you could say, because I'm used to playing classical, so I do a bit of both, I'd have to say. Other than that, we're fretting the strings the same way. Fingertips, you can bar, same thing as a guitar. Finally, it's coming down to the pick. We can use fingers. I like to do that as well. It's can work really cool. But if you're used to a pick, you'll probably want to use a pick. The first video I put up, it was like when I just got it in the mail, and I'm like, yeah, I want to try this thing out, and was messing around with it, and I didn't even realize where the picks were. They were hidden to me. It was actually stuck behind the strings, which is a common place to put them, I guess. But I didn't know I thought it was something just I didn't know what it was. So I was using the guitar pick, and of course got to hear about that. Guitar pick is fine, it works, it's not a bad thing, just the sound's going to be a lot different. The guitar pick is much harder. The picks for these they're longer, different shape, and there's different thicknesses. This is like 0.50, I think. This is a heavier one of the ones I have. And it's a very soft, flexible, kind of like hard rubber or plastic. I don't know, I guess rubber. But firm, but really bendable. It's not like a guitar pick. Softer, I could say. I actually sharpened one end of mine because that's personal preference again. I do the same thing with my guitar picks actually. It makes for strumming, tremolo and stuff like that. It makes it easier for me. You're supposed to hold it differently than a normal pick. It's pretty awkward if you're not used to it. I probably don't even demonstrate it right. It's more like it's bent along with the index finger. It's really hard to even hold it and do it. There's a weird way to grip it. I've been shown how to do it, and I don't even remember, and it felt funky. It's easier to just I do a cross, I guess, between that and how I hold my guitar pick. So it's really like, you think about what's it hurting, what's it prohibiting, and if there's something to change about it, then change it. If not, then use it. And if it sounds good, if it feels comfortable, makes it easier to play, I don't see any problem with that. And of course, like a guitar, you're going to get different kind of reaction to the strings and a different tone from if you strum by the bridge. Or closer to the neck. One thing I've found over just kind of time and where I messed around with this thing is it's very easy as a guitar, especially for me when I'm the kind of stuff I play, to get a little carried away and strum a little too hard. It's not bad for me anyways. I guess it's bad for some people if they're not used to hearing that on this instrument. You're going to get a different sound. You can get a nice sound really playing gentle on it. Of course, with any kind of music, the more dynamics you use, the more interesting it's going to be. So that's like the biggest starter tips, I think. I already did a video, just put it up on showing like some tips on how to tune it to a normal, I guess, from what I've read, it's so before someone bites my head off with this, it's basically the more standard tuning, which would be G, D, A. And also, from what I understand, in Turkey, there's a lot of different regions where things are different for the saz, how it's played, how it's tuned, whatever. But the most common tuning I could come across was G, D, A, and I've used different ones. I don't even have them memorized. But around that vicinity, you got a bit of room to how much you can tighten or loosen the strings before you have problems with them breaking. And that's it. Like I said, that's the basics of getting started. I know I did one of these already, but I'm just kind of refreshing it, and I want to do this in a series, so I'm going to do a couple more videos after this. And next we'll take a look at some exercises and some kind of basic riffs to get started out with.